ドジャースは本拠地でレッドソックスと対戦し、2対3で惜敗しました。先発した山本由伸は8回3失点と力投しましたが、打線の援護に恵まれず、今季7敗目、11勝を喫しました。大谷翔平は3打数1安打、1申告敬遠で5試合連続安打を記録しています。試合後には、8イニングを投げ抜いた山本の力投を称賛する声が相次ぎました。また、試合前の地元放送には元ドジャースの投手ジョーケリーが出演し、大谷から贈られたポルシェの現在について明かしました。このポルシェは、大谷がドジャースへ移籍した際、背番号17を譲ったジョーケリーへのお礼としてプレゼントされたものです。これらの模様を日本語字幕付きでご紹介します。
Plus, you have Yoshinobu Yamamoto on the mound to start game 2.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. You have your ace on the mound, Yamamoto. Obviously, he provides length on most occasions. This guy knows how to throw 8, 9, and sometimes a complete game. This guy has elite stuff, and he understands what he needs to do to go out there and shut down this Boston Red Sox team. This team is hot. He knows that. He needs to have that fastball command, outstanding split to go along with that breaking ball. So hopefully he gives us length and gives us a chance to win tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about Yamamoto, seeing him pitch over these last few years is that he is just so good at making adjustments. And even when he's gotten into trouble, even when we talked about some of his bad games, I felt like they've been, okay, he gave up a hit, maybe a broken bat, maybe a walk, and then a hard hit. So I just feel like it's never really compounded where they're just teeing off on the guy or where he's really walking a lot of guys. So, I mean, he's second in the league in average against. Guys are hitting 190. So, I mean, anytime you have a guy like that and 28 walks on the year, right? So anytime you have a pitcher like that can do those type of things, it's always ace-type stuff. And his mechanics, he's always in tune with his body. So like I said, even if he gets in a little trouble, it's usually not going to be too bad.
Second lowest whip in all of baseball behind only Jacob Mizorowski. That's how good Yamamoto has been keeping base runners off those base paths. Meanwhile, his fellow countryman Shohei Ohtani had a home run and a double last night. There was one moment where it looked like James, maybe he was wincing in pain as he was legging out that double. He sat out the game on Thursday against the Mariners. He was back in there last night. So at least his bat looks like it's not affected too much by what's going on with the knee.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, he's the kind of guy, he has that confidence when he's up there. And I really feel like, it's more the adrenaline, right? You have a double look or you have a triple look, you're running. You're not thinking about it at the time. And I think maybe right, when you're approaching the base, getting to, whatever base you're going to, you might feel a little bit thin. But as far as in the box, I do not think it affects him. Maybe at times, like we talk about this with injuries, when you swing and miss, then that might be at times where you put a little pressure on the knee, put a little pressure on the legs. But as far as the, hitting right there, I mean, I love that right there. He's kind of like, he knew he hit it hard and he's like, you know what, let me make sure this went over the fence. But yeah, overall, I mean, I think he's fine. I mean, this is going to happen. I think, over the next few years, he's going to deal with some knee things. He's going to probably deal with some back things. But we are definitely taking that production out of the plate. Nice game last night.
Unfortunately, I had to deal with some lower extremities throughout my career. The thing that always hurt me was stop, go. When you're playing defense, obviously he does not play defense, but when he's trying to stretch a single into a double, when he's trying to go from second and third, going back and forth, that's when he puts stresses on that knee. So hopefully, and I always say this, get in your David Ortiz. What I mean by that, don't stretch singles into doubles into triples. Go station to station and do what you do on most nights. Yeah. Hit that long ball so you could jog around the bases.
And then obviously coming back home and playing for the Dodgers, like I said, nothing against the Red Sox, Cardinals, White Sox, but number one organization, I'd say, in all of sports, whether it's hockey, football, basketball, just from ownership all the way down to the lowest level, the minor leagues, to spring training coaches. They're just very professional and treat the employees how they should be treated. So White Sox, it was a very brief, short stint. I love the city. We had put together a good team. We just couldn't win. But I enjoyed, the ups and downs of my career and, very thankful and blessed, that's for sure.
Hey, Joe, great answer right there. It's James Loney. I just realized that we got a couple things in common here. Actually, just one thing I'm going to talk about. We're both not retired yet, even though I'm still up here, so that's a good thing.
Hey, did you ever fill out the paperwork?
I did not fill out the paperwork. Everybody just assumed
it. I haven't signed it either.
Yeah, there you go. Not signing it. DH and the NL now. But I'm gonna, okay. But we got Ohtani, so I think we're good. But I'm gonna segue that into what's going on in your post-retirement. I mean, not retirement. You're, right now, post-career, whatever going on. I feel like so many things you could be doing. Podcasting. I almost feel like you could be like a wrestler or something. I just feel like you definitely got a lot of options for you, right?
Yeah. TV, I've got numerous TV outlets, but I'm just not ready for it. No, it's been great. I've been able to, my boys are at a great age of them to learn the game that I love, right? Obviously, they play soccer, they play football. My daughter dances, but being able to coach, coming up next season, my oldest will be 11U, my youngest, my other son who plays will be 7U. So, I have 2 new teams starting under my name. I help out at Corona High. Obviously, my favorite is, the number 1 public school in the country. Obviously, high draft picks the last few years. I've helped out here and there, but now I'm an official assistant coach. I'm took all the hour-long courses. I know how to do CPR. If someone has a concussion, I can check them. But to be on the field at the high school level, you kind of have to hit all those little things that you have to do to be, certified, right? So technically I'm an assistant coach and, I'm going to help out when I can.
you definitely have always had that rubber arm. It wouldn't surprise me if you went out there and threw 98. Not to Alex Vesia, but you can still pump it at 98 miles an hour. I think I want to know, really, the majority of Dodger fans would like to know, do you guys still have the car Shohei gave you guys a couple years ago, the Porsche?
Of course, that thing will be in the family history forever, right? That's a historic artifact. That's one of the coolest stories and the greatest gifts, and we're beyond lucky to get that from Shohei. What a great human being he is. But yes, my wife still drives it. I still drive it. I don't drive it too far because I'm going to put myself on blast. The car is in an Arizona name at the time, I think, and we haven't been able to switch it over to the DMV because if I go to the DMV, I'm sitting there for 5 hours and I start cussing at people. So it is not currently registered. So if any cops out there see the Shohei car, just know that it's not registered. I'm just going to pick up my kids. No, I'm going to pick up my kids real quick and I'm coming back to the house. All right, you won't see me again. All right.
So not only did he get a Porsche out of it, also, Joe, your number 17 is going to be retired someday here at Dodger Stadium as well.
Wait.
So you're going to have that.
I'll be honored again. I love it. Yeah. Every time I bring my boys and family to the field, it's like, can't believe Dad got retired. Look at that number.
That's right. Joe Kelly, thank you so much for coming on with us. Always great to see you back at the Ravine. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, Joe. Thanks.
Well, I am joined by Emmett Sheehan. And Emmett, you've got the start tomorrow against the Red Sox. Obviously, just seeing how aggressive they were last night, especially late in the game, just seeing the two starts ahead of yours in a series, how does it help you prepare and plan for your outing?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great to have Yama throw the day before me because, I've said it before, but he's really intentional with what he's trying to do out there, and he executes his game plan, and, it's awesome to see just what works, and it's very recent. Obviously, you can do scouting on last week and the week before, but the day before is kind of where you get the best look at their hitters, I think, so, yeah, it should be good.
How much is it for you when you look at just these small things, whether it's certain cues or certain feels? How are you finding just when you do get to it and you look to maintain it? Like, is there something that you kind of are holding on to? Or are you writing down in a notebook? Or are you looking back on footage? How do you really find just kind of holding on to these certain things?
Yeah, absolutely. I have notes from the past 5 years since I've been in pro ball pretty much, but I think the tough part is that something will work for a month, a feel that you have, and then it might change where you got to flip something, or it just gets old in your brain kind of thing, and it's not really as fresh as it was before. So finding different ways to feel almost the same thing has been something that Connor and Mark have been great about, and I lean on those guys a lot.
Is there any other players that you kind of lean on? I know in the past, whether it was living with Clayton Kershaw, things like that. I mean, how important has it been for you just being able to rely on some of that veteran support with what you're looking to kind of either experience or what you've been going through on the mound?
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I mean, there's too many guys to pick from on this team to kind of pick stuff up from, but especially watching the way Yama, Snell, and Glass play catch and just go about their work. They all have different processes, but the way they go about it is the same with focus and every day out there is kind of the same as a game to them. So just trying to keep that and try to do the same thing for myself.
That's a cutter that has been better and better for Yoshi. Actually got hit pretty hard the first month plus, but the last 2 months